Okay, looks like we're live. All right, what we're going to do is we're starting this show a little bit early. I've got some personal matters I got to tend to. I got to go find my stupid dog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the intro here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Paul. And hold on, let's stop. There we go. I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and he's got a. So what we're going to be discussing today here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and why is this coming? Okay, somebody needs to close their YouTube window on there. So, Ed.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to start the intro. As soon as the intro's done, Paul, I'm going to bring your slideshow up here. I'm going to show your screen right now. And here's the intro. As soon as the intro is over, you can go ahead and start.
Hello, welcome to the show. Today we're going to be taking on our second chance of looking at Kenny Bomer's review, his debate with David Wood. And I have to laugh because when I looked at when I watched this debate, I just sat there, the first things that David Wood said totally destroyed anything he would say, anything Kenny Bomer did say all the way through the interview. And Eric will be back shortly. We had planned a little bit of humor to begin with. So I want to share with you what it means to take down a person's total argument with your opening statement. Chris Claus is a master of this. If you've watched Chris Claus. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with his arguments. Now, I teach a class in apologetics, and I talk to them about how important it is that if you're trying to take down an opponent, you have to kick down what's essential. So here we go. So we have to talk about, what are doctrinal beliefs. We talk about what are essential beliefs, and we get to that. So let's talk about, we get into that. So here we go.
Хорошим другом. Ты был пиздатым пацаном, пока тебя не придавило крышей. Блять, 3 кирпича.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Пиздец.
Let's just see how intelligent this young man is. one thing to take down everything. Kenny's poor argumentation was destructive, and that's the sad, starry truth of that. Now, let me show you one more piece and see if I can do that. Eric and I have been talking about the importance of what is true, and the importance of not using fallacious reasoning. And what I mean by what is true, Kenny's arguments are full of fallacies. And I just trying to get back to the StreamYard to make sure everything is working. And here we go. And you guys can't see it, can you?
We can see the green screen.
Let's try this again. Can you see the purple screen now?
Yeah, what says Kenny?
Yes, sir.
Fallacious
Oh, okay, good. That's a good part. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me get over there. Sorry. Kenny appeals to false authorities not recognized by Islam. So he starts all of Kenny's arguments. His entire argumentation is based on scholars not recognized as Islamic authorities. So this is where it gets funny. It's called the appeal to improper authority, using a famous person or source that may not be reliable or who may not know anything about the topic. And as he demonstrated over and over again, Kenny knew that these people knew nothing. He at least knew that, or he knew that they would argue differently. So let's talk about what that means. This is an attempt to capitalize upon feelings of respect or familiarity with a famous individual. So that's why he kept naming their names. He thought they were famous. But it's not fallacious to refer to an admitted authority if the individual's expertise is within a strict field of knowledge. So this is what we know Kenny didn't do. Here we go. I'm hoping.
Is one of the most hallowed precepts of dinosaur tradition.
Can you hear this?
Among us who would require some proof that the world is flat. Fair enough. Let the record show that I now offer absolute and unimpeachable evidence. A guy in a lab coat. You are an engineer with lots of inside degrees. That is correct. And you work at the We Say So Corporation. That is also correct. See, that's where the Globe Division. And just what have you brought here to show us the only this? And we have a warehouse full of these things. Proof enough for you, Missy.
Is that an example of fallacious reasoning? Oh, are you back, Eric? All right, you're back. Great. Find the dog?
All right. Yeah. Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, I live out on a busy road, and every time it gets out, you just want to make sure that you go find him as soon as possible, because I don't, I'd hate like heck for him to get out on that road and get hit. Okay, sorry. I saw you were doing the slideshow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, if you're on a roll, let's go.
Okay,
let's keep
so
going.
let's go back to this. Kenny attempted to appeal to emotion both through crying, which still makes me laugh that this guy went into a debate and cried, and he started to say David Wood was making decisions for the followers of Islam. So he's trying to appeal to emotion. So let's talk about that. The appeal to emotion is called a fallacy, an emotional appeal to justify a conclusion. So if a person tries to use emotion merely for the sake of getting the reader or the person who's he's debating to accept what should be a logical conclusion, that argument is a fallacy. Here's an example.
Please, go ahead, Mr. Quagmire.
Look,
I know everyone's sitting out there judging me today, but before you do, please know I had it pretty rough growing up. My dad was a military man, so he wasn't around much. And my mom, well, let's just say she was a little promiscuous. In fact, I think my problem started the day I was born.
Can you turn it up?
Yeah, I'll try. Is that better? Is that any better?
I don't know. I could hear it, but I got my ears on.
Okay.
But yeah, my dad. Yeah, this is where you sit there and you peel the motion. You're like, oh, woe was me.
Try it again.
Exactly.
Like a terrible life.
Okay. That any better in sound?
Yeah, it sounds better.
Look,
Yep, that's better, sir.
Judging me today, but before you do, please know I had it pretty rough growing up. My dad was a military man, so he wasn't around much. And my mom, well, let's just say she was a little promiscuous. In fact, I think my problem started the day I was born.
Mr. Quagmire, your story is a sad one, but that doesn't excuse your actions. I have no choice but to sentence you to 20 years in prison.
Did his appeal to emotion work? And here's my favorite
No,
one.
sir.
Here's my favorite one. Kenny used a child's fallacious reasoning by trying to change the topic to distract David Wood. It didn't work. It failed
No,
miserably.
sir. Amen.
All right. So Kenny can watch this and at least learn how to improve.
How do I apologize for this? Oh, apology about 3,000. Oh.
This is an apology from
Kenji and Mike in the kitchen.
that blowfish you just ate was lethally poisonous. An ambulance is coming, but you're pretty much screwed. We're sorry for the inconvenience. But hey, Bud Light.
Nice.
See? It's all good.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it.
Quick, give me the check.
So that's, I teach stuff like this solely by making my students laugh because they get scared of what they consider college material. But hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah. We're sorry we gave you that blowfish, but you're gonna die. But here's a Bud Ice or Bud Light or whatever.
No.
That's
okay.
funny.
So how many times, if you've got children, I want you to think about it. How many times your children tried to distract you to get something else they wanted? I mean, grandchildren are really masters at it. Can they distract grandma or grandpa? Yeah.
Yeah, I can speak from experience on that one. Okay, so we were talking about his appeal to emotion, and when I was looking through the notes last night, this is something that he often went to, is to say, well, you're not going to make decisions for us Muslims or something.
Yes.
Along those lines. To say something like that in the middle of debate it's kind of like the epitome of insecurity.
Yeah.
When you're trying to think of something to say and to try to defend yourself and putting the onus back on the person who's actually engaging on topic, that tells me that that right there, he knew he was losing the debate. Even in his opening statement, he knew he was losing the debate.
Yeah, George Bush did really good in talking to Iraq for 90,000 sorties, didn't he?
Which one? The first one?
Yeah, I mean, the second George Bush.
What with the? I'm not following yet.
Well, I guess what I'm really trying to say here is that they listened to us loud and clear when we just bombed them nonstop.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, and when we finally pulled the rabbit out of the hole, what was he like? He was a little scared little puppy that begged for his life, right?
Well,
and we pretty much saved his butt until his own countrymen killed him.
Exactly.
Yep. Tried him and hung him.
I will say this for Saddam: if they come for me like that, I hope I stand like he did as a man, and not like a crying little sniveling little girl like I don't know, say George Floyd. Just saying.
Or Kenny Bomer. Or, yeah.
Okay, so have we even I don't know if we introduced the topic to the show, and the reason why is because somebody's out chasing his little puppy dog. Tonight we're going to because on Sunday we just basically, there was so much material when we were trying to critique the debate between David Wood and Kenny Bomer on Saturday, whatever day that was.
January 15th.
Okay, January 15th. We didn't even get through. We didn't get through even Kenny's introduction, because when you look at when I was looking through Kenny's introduction, you can hear all kinds of dishonesty in it. I'm just saying, blatant dishonest statements that make absolutely no sense. And I'm going to play a couple of those for you tonight in light of what he believes, or he's supposed to believe. And statements that when he tries to feign victimhood status, like Paul was saying, I'm the victim, but at the same time, he's the one that's attacking and the one that's calling the names.
Those are ad hominems. I got another one for that if you'd like.
Which one is that? Is that the one with?
I've got another slide for that. I just got to find it. Hold on.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple clips here that I had picked out. I know Rad. Now, what do you, Rad? You had something put together. What did you want to do?
Well, no, I don't know. Are you going to play the video on your end? Because seriously, it's going to suck. I'm just saying. But I got the video. We're all ready to share it. You just tell me where.
I'm going to play the video on my end because I know where the timestamps are.
Okay. Well, you can just tell me the timestamps and I can get.
All right. Timestamp number 1.
Which one? What do you want to go?
Well, give me a second. All right. 28:15 to 28:27.
All right.
28:15 to 28:27.
We're there.
We're there? Really?
Yeah, go ahead. You got to share the screen.
All right. Well, okay. All right, big man. Hold on. Let me see here. All right. Go ahead and play it.
All right. Here we go.
Head in her lap.
Can you hear it?
She was a very well-educated scholar of Islam, and who could have easily spoken about abuse if, in fact, there was any. If, in fact, there was any. She was a strong, triumphant Muslim woman who had the capacity of character and the means to lash out at anyone who might have abused her. She had ample opportunity after the Prophet died, peace be upon him. But David Wood wants you to envision her as a defenseless little child. Okay, well, she grew, and she was a woman that could have spoken up if she had been abused.
He was 50. He was 50.
Stop. All right. So here he's trying to do is he's trying to say, okay, look what David's trying to do. He's trying to paint Aisha as this poor, defenseless little girl when she was this Muslim scholar, the mother of all the faithful. The problem is that we're describing two different people here. What we're doing is we're describing an event that happened when she was 9 years old, as specifically specified in Islamic literature, versus a woman that she had grown into at a later time in her life. This is the typical bait and switch.
Yes.
So when he says, oh, well, he's trying to paint, saying that Aisha needs to be defended from these poor people. Dude, this is what men do when they see little girls attacked. This is what they do. They don't make excuses for the pervert who's perpetrating the perversion upon them, and then say, "Well, later on in life, it didn't bother. Look what a great leader she ended up becoming." This is so. Rad warned me not to use this word, so I'm not going to use it. But this is just so absolutely hypocritical that it just makes your blood boil. To think that he's going to cite things that she did as an older woman, and then impose those upon a prepubescent 9-year-old little girl that got raped by a 54-year-old scumbag.
He's wanting to skirt tail the issue. He's wanting to skirt tail.
Well, it's worse than that. He's making the argument that pedophile organizations, they're not, well, I'm sorry, they're not pedophile anymore. They're minor attracted people, MAPs. I am not making this up. This is what they're called now. It is rude and wrong to call pedophile. You now have to call them, this is what they're pushing for, MAPs, minor attracted person.
Okay,
well, I'm not going to do that. They're a pervert.
These are sociologist groups, psychologist groups, and so I mean, no, they are seriously putting out. As a matter of fact, there was an article. It was about a decade ago, but that article could be probably resubmitted and be accepted. An article that was submitted to Psychology Today or whatever, one of the psychological peer-reviewed journals, talking about how wonderful it is, okay, for a child to be groomed in a loving, sexually caring environment, and how that there is no that this could actually help them advance in life if they are fatherless, motherless, whatever, if they're orphans. This is no joke. We can look it up. I can show it to you. But it took an act of Congress. An act of Congress at the time, like I said, this is a decade, maybe 15 years ago, took an act of Congress for this peer-reviewed psychological journal to have this article removed. So what Kenny is arguing for is what the same thing these pedophiles argue for. They're arguing for legitimacy. Okay, and this is one of the arguments that they use. Well, no, she grew up to be a fine, upstanding woman, a strong, powerful woman. Case in point, there's a woman right now in Florida, congresswoman, state representative. I just read it today. She was sexually abused and raped as a child. Okay, but guess what? She's a strong, powerful woman. She's in Congress right now. Okay, or maybe state representative. So does that mean that when she was raped and abused as a child, that's okay? No, it just means that she overcame it. Okay,
it's the pedophile's justification. What you're talking about.
Exactly.
And this is what Kenny is making the argument for. Simply as that, when he makes this type of argument. But go ahead and continue. We got another one, or you want to say more on this, or what?
I don't even know what to say about that.
I have an ad hominem slide, but I thought you wanted to play something.
Yeah, we'll get to your slide. Just let me show. I just went in and I fact checked Rad, because I said minor attracted, or what was that? Minor attracted. Hold on, this thing's messing up here for some reason. Here it is. This is disgusting. It says here, supporting minor attracted people. In case you are unaware of the distinction, listen, there's a distinction between a pedophile and a minor attracted person. A pedophile is someone with an attraction to prepubescent children, while minor attraction is an umbrella term for somebody attracted to minors in general. So what are they doing here? They're making a distinction about, okay, well, it's okay to be attracted to children or young people who enter puberty, but prepubescent, well, that's where you draw the line. Are you kidding me? This is absolutely sick stuff. All right, Paul, go ahead. What were you going to show? You want to show your screen?
I have the ad hominem slide up.
Okay. Let's go ahead and put that up here.
This is another fallacy that this is one of the fallacies Kenny engages in within basically insult. A fallacy of relevance where someone rejects or criticizes another person's view on the basis of personal characteristics or background, physical appearance, or in this case, he was saying, "Well, you're not going to make decisions for us." And he was trying to insult David, and David was never doing that. So I just consider that incredibly foolish, but that was his best.
Yeah, well, that's you could also inject into like the straw man argument where he's in there trying to beat this straw man to death. Where
I think
David,
the slide. Hold on a second.
Never made those.
Hold on a second. It's still to go. Got a video with it. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Let me put it back up. Okay.
Okay.
Ad hominem is a Latin phrase meaning literally to the man. It refers to a logical fallacy, or in other words, a bad argument. Ad hominem is when someone uses a personal attack as an argument. This takes many forms, 4 of which will be covered in this video. The first is the abusive form. For example, John argues that because dark chocolate has antioxidants and most other candies only have sugar which rots your teeth, dark chocolate is therefore better than most sweets. Tim responds to this argument, "Yeah, but you're a greedy jerk." Whatever John's moral character may be, Tim's response is not an argument. John may in fact be a greedy jerk, but that doesn't make him wrong. Another more common variant of this is the circumstantial form. For example, if Tim were to respond to John's argument saying, "Yeah, but you work for the chocolate company. You're paid to say that." John may have been paid to make the argument, but that doesn't address the argument he was making. Now, if Tim were to respond to John's argument, "Yeah, but I saw you eating a candy cane," this would be an example of the third variant of ad hominem, called tu quoque, which is Latin for "you also." Being a hypocrite does not invalidate an argument. The fourth and final form of ad hominem is the guilt by association. This would be if Tim responded to John by saying, "Nazis also believed dark chocolate was better," implying that, holding this belief, John is as bad as a Nazi. That still is not an argument. John may in fact be a Nazi, but that doesn't automatically make him wrong. It certainly doesn't address the issue at hand. Just remember, a personal attack is not an argument. So the next time you see this happening in a discussion, make sure to link them to this video.
And here's the other part of it.
Very good.
Here's one more. Hold on.
Sarah Palin, taking aim at your decision to restrict use of nuclear weapons, your pledge not to strike nations, non-nuclear nations, who abide by the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Here's what she said. She said, "It's unbelievable. No other administration would do it." And then she likened it to kids on a playground. She said, "You're like a kid who says, 'Punch me in the face, and I'm not going to retaliate.'"
Yeah.
Your response?
I really have no response to that. The last I checked, Sarah Palin's not much of an expert on nuclear issues.
That's it.
What was that about? I mean,
So that is an ad hominem where, he was calling her not an expert on the issue.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
But yet she was running for vice president, and he didn't even address the argument. He went and tried to insult her instead.
Right. Yeah, he skirt-tailed.
Sound pretty Islamic to me.
Yep.
Just real quickly on that, since you were fact checking me, how many times you guys fact check me and I'm always right. I'm even right when I'm wrong. Okay? I'm like Albert Einstein here. But here,
the whole concept there, I have to say, Rad, it disgusts me. I didn't even know there was such a.
How do you know something like that?
When you study Islam as intensely as I do, you do come upon.
Well, this is true. This is true.
But no, actually, no. This is Dr. Michael Brown. Actually, no. It's called the Rind et al. Study. Okay. This is what I was talking about. Okay, the study's lead author is psychologist Bruce Rind, and it expanded on a 1997 meta-analysis for which Rind is also lead author. The author stated their goal was to determine whether CSA caused pervasive, significant psychological harm for both males and females, controversially concluding that the harm caused by child sexual abuse was not necessarily intense or persuasive. That actually is not accurate. They actually argued that in certain circumstances it benefited the child who was an orphan and could develop a loving sexual relationship with an adult. Okay, seriously. Okay, that the prevailing construct of CSA was not scientifically valid as it failed empirical verification at the psychologist damage. The psychological damage caused by the abusive encounters depends on the factors such as the degree or coercion or force involved. The authors concluded that even though CSA may not result in lifelong significant harm to all victims, this does not mean it's not morally wrong, and indicated that their findings did not imply current moral and legal prohibitions against CSA should be changed. Okay, that's like one of those little blurbs at the end after they defend this whole practice. They say, well, it's like Kenny says, so chop the heads off of infidels, blah blah blah. But I'm not advocating to chop the heads off of infidels. You know what I mean? Nobody is saying that, of course not. Okay, here's the thing. The Rind paper has been quoted by people in organizations advocating for the age of consent reform, pedophilia, and pedestry. Groups in support of their efforts to change attitudes towards pedophilia and to decriminalize sexual activity between adults and minors, children, or adolescents, and and by defense attorneys who have used the study to minimize harm to child sex abuse cases. Okay.
The beginning of your article, Red, at the beginning of the article, didn't it say that it lacked empirical evidence for? So how can you use this as a defense when you don't have any empirical evidence to?
Again,
it
was entered into for peer review of all the major psychological peer review journals, and it was debated and stuff like that. And it took an act of Congress. This was in 1998. It took an act of Congress, of both houses of Congress, to condemn this, where finally the journals of the psychological journals finally pulled the paper. But guess what? It's still out there. It's still being used, okay? And it's still making its way back into things. Like I said, this is 1998. The way things have changed now, I guarantee you, dude, within 5 years, it's just going to be an accepted thing. How dare you? Well, they're already saying how calling people pedophiles really shames them, and it and it discriminates against them. We shouldn't.
Well, it should shame them, and it should discriminate them because you're a sick prick for doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Try to come after my First Amendment. I dare you.
Well, Kenny is making these same arguments here. Basically, he's saying, "Well, look, Aisha grew up. She grew up healthy and strong.
Right.
She grew up to be a strong, powerful woman." Blah blah.
But that wasn't the topic.
Exactly. Okay.
Was it?
Yes.
The
Children
was
recover from
immoral? Was it immoral for Muhammad to do that? And notice what he did. He didn't defend whether it was moral or not in the entire debate. As a matter of fact, he was asked specifically if he thought, if this is true, would it be immoral? And he refused to answer the question.
He actually said that was. He actually said that was a. Well, he told it to me. He said, because I asked him the same question a long time ago. He actually said it to me that was a logical fallacy called begging the question, because you ask an if.
Yeah, begging the question is closer to circular reasoning.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not asking as if, dude. We have the sources. We have his sources that say it.
Exactly. But he says in debate, I refuse to answer it because that's actually a logical fallacy. I forget the name of it right now. And David was like, what? You can see the look on his face. What are you talking about?
He doesn't know what a logical fallacy is.
Yeah,
Wood has a PhD in philosophy, so he knows
Right.
these things. You can recognize him off the bat. Okay. Does anybody else? What?
What's the next clip? Where do you want me to go?
2930. 2930 to 2956.
Okay. All right. We're there. We're ready. When you are, let me know.
We are there. Go.
Guidance in the Quran about coming to common terms when there's disagreement amongst people, and that Allah himself will eventually inform people about that which they used to differ on the Day of Judgment. The common terms amongst Muslims on this matter, as well as many decent, unbiased, non-Muslim scholars and historians, is that there was absolutely no wrongdoing committed on the part of the Prophet in regards to this marriage, peace be upon him. So that's what we should focus on, because that's where the consensus of agreement lies. David Wood,
Stop.
We don't try to tell you how to.
Stop. Okay. So he's what he's saying here is there's no wrongdoing ascribed to Muhammad. Now, okay, now think about this. Who would be ascribing the wrongdoing to Muhammad to begin with? It would be
Kenny.
Anybody that isn't Muslim.
No. At the time, there was no wrongdoing ascribed to Muhammad at the time. Now, these are the same people. This is the same people group that did not describe any wrongdoing to Muhammad raping Aisha when she was 9 and he was 54. These are the same people who themselves raped and pillaged their way all through North Africa and into Western Asia within the first 100 years. These are the same people who used to bury their infant daughters out in the sand because they didn't want to have to pay dowries for them when they grew up. These are the same people who lived in a city that has zero historical, geographical, or archaeological evidence for it. in the 7th century that these are the same people who would walk around a pagan shrine 7 times thinking that it is somehow religious. Oh, wait a second. They still do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, my mistake. But okay, but the point I'm trying to make is he's saying, well, nobody said that there was any wrongdoing for Muhammad to do this. These people are perverts to begin with. This is like
Exactly.
going to prison. Do you think it was wrong to go ahead and beat the snot out of the cop when he was arresting him? Oh, no, that was all right. He was being mean to me. He didn't need to do that. It's the same thing. So that go ahead.
It's actually worse than that, because Kenny is arguing that nobody complained, okay, about, and the only sources we have, okay, I mean the sources that Kenny quotes, okay, hadn't been born yet. They weren't even a gleam in their daddy's
Was he
eye
there?
yet, okay?
Was Kenny there? Was Kenny there?
Exactly.
Huh?
Yeah. Right.
Well, I think that's the appeal to the false authority that he does. That's his fallacious reasoning.
Exactly. But here's the thing. So all the sources that we have, okay, was that Aisha was 9. And nobody complained about that Aisha was 9. So he's arguing, well, nobody complained about nobody said that what he did was wrong. Okay, but I'll concede that. None of the Muslims said that what he did was wrong, because they were all pretty much doing the same thing for the most part. Okay, so nobody's going to say it's wrong. But here's the thing: all the sources say she was 9. So there's no argument for him to say that is wrong at the age of 9. The only thing that now makes it wrong in his eyes, in Kenny's eyes, in modern day Muslims in the 20th century, okay, this argument that Aisha was actually older, as he actually points out, comes from 1934. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? Is because.
Again, he totally missed the purpose of the debate. It was about morality, and because someone doesn't say something is wrong does not make it morally wrong. He might have done better arguing about different kinds of morality than he did with this.
Well, yeah, but his whole thing goes against his argument that it is actually that the Prophet did nothing wrong. No, that's his argument. The Prophet did nothing wrong because she was actually older, according to somebody in 1934 or in 1998. Okay, but according to them, and he had done nothing wrong because before 1934, 1938, or 1998, when everybody knew that Aisha was 9, he had done nothing wrong. Okay, no, that's not the point, dude. Seriously, Kenny, she was 9, dude. She was 9. And if you in your modern day Islamic mind cannot see how that is wrong and walk away from that, then Kenny, you got the problem, dude. You are biased.
I like to put it in this kind of perspective. She was a 9-year-old 4th grader, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I got held back. I always thought 9 years old was like 12. I got held back a couple of years.
Well, no, that's 4th grade. Right. If you started early, right?
Yes.
One thing that I wanted to add to this was, okay, he said that nobody challenged Muhammad on this. Nobody made a big deal out of this. The question then becomes, okay, how did those people who did challenge Muhammad, who did challenge if whether or not he was a prophet or would criticize him, how'd that work out for them?
Oh, they're
dead. They're dead.
What?
Executed.
Yep. They were executed.
What? Killed.
Assassinated.
Muhammad had him killed for mocking him, for challenging. Oh,
yeah,
so
he couldn't handle it.
Okay, so if somebody, I mean, okay, the argument is well, there was nobody that challenged him about this, ascribes any wrongdoing to him for doing that. What would happen to you if you did ascribe wrongdoing to Muhammad? And things never really worked out well for it. I mean, they would write, if you wrote a poem about Muhammad disparaging him, he had you killed.
Like the old lady. Yep, like the old lady, split in half.
Yeah, exactly. So, this argument that, well, there's no wrongdoing ascribed to it is stupid.
Right.
When you start looking at the facts, it's dumb as the day is long. Okay. Anybody else want to beat that horse before we move on?
Just whenever you get a chance, I got another. I'm showing my other screen. If you just want to go take a look at it, Eric, and You might want to.
What is
There
okay?
you
This
go.
is kind of scary stuff. What is this? What is that? All right.
Come on, man. You guys can't figure it out.
Okay, who is this? Who is this guy?
This is Kenny when he's older, right?
Oh my gosh. You know, this is why I pray sometimes that evolution cannot be true. I mean, that would just
This would be called de-evolution.
the devolution of man. Yeah, instead of the descent of man, it's the descent of man. Okay.
Yeah, it's there to show how things are going backwards in the Islamic world.
All right, Rad, where are you? Rad. Oh, Rad. Mr. Radical Moderate. I need a new clip.
He's laughing so hard right now.
Okay. Okay, timestamp 3628 to 3645.
3628
to 3645.
Just tell me when to stop, dude. So we're ready.
Okay.
Hold up.
Wait a second. That's Ed Van Halen. Sorry, that's your screen. Sorry, wrong line.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that.
Here we go.
Okay.
Has an agenda.
Right.
But a person who looks at all this information about this topic, and does not allow the opinions of other people to impede on their own logic and reason, can only conclude that, based on all the evidence on this topic, no one knows for sure how old she was, and so.
Based on all the evidence.
So when we can go back and forth between this hadith and that hadith and mention what the scholar says versus that.
Go back because he says something here. He said something. Go back about 15 seconds. Okay, this is what he
yourself.
said.
You're a decent, unbiased person. You cannot convict someone of a crime based on all these.
No.
What are you supposed to believe? There are many articles and books that I can mention.
I think
so. What does a reasonable person do with this conflicting evidence?
Morality are the same thing, which is
no. This is not the argument. 3640. Go to 3640. There. No, back. Right there. Fine. There.
On their own logic and reason, can only include that. Based on all the evidence on this topic, no one knows for sure how old she was, and so that's the facts. So when we.
Okay,
that's the facts, Jack.
That's the fact. Nobody knows how old she was. Okay, now, no, that's not a fact. That is not a fact because when the first thing you have to do is you have to understand how facts are determined. Obviously, facts are not determined by somebody's opinion. Facts are not determined how they make you feel. Facts are determined by, things like, manuscript evidence, what the consensus of scholarship who have studied the manuscript evidence for that, archaeological evidence, or any other physical evidence that may come in there. So when you try to establish a historical fact, to establish a historical fact, you only need one citation from a historian. For example, let's say Josephus. Some of the things he wrote back, he's the only one that ever wrote about him. But people consider those historical facts. Why? Because Josephus mentions it in his work, where other parts of that work happen to line up with other historical facts that we know about. So we can use his what he says as the establishment of a fact. But when you get two people, two different sources that cite the same thing, this makes it a very well-established fact. A well-established fact.
Jack! That is a fact, Jack!
Who was that?
That was Ed.
Man.
See, that's what I want to do, man.
Man, that is good. Okay.
I have a whole jingle palette, dude. You wouldn't believe what I got.
That's a fact, Jack. Okay, but when you get three people, three different sources, it makes that unimpeachable. You cannot.
When it's saying the same thing, yeah.
Right, when all of them are saying the same thing. So let me check what my note says here. My note says that the age of Aisha was established by at least 8 separate narrators or commentators in at least 14 separate documents. Now, You can say, we know, Kafir, you don't believe the hadith any further than you can throw it. But the problem is that you do, and you put as much confidence in that hadith as if the event actually happened, especially if it's Sahih hadith. And you have all of these people saying the same thing. They're not saying she was 13. They're not saying she was 15. They're not saying she was 18. They were saying she was 9. All of them are saying she was 9.
You know what I'd say?
Uh-oh.
You just made the list, buddy.
Here we go.
You just made the list, buddy.
What is that? What?
Let's make a list.
No, you just made the list, buddy.
It kind of sound like Marshall.
That's from what was that? Stripes.
Yes, Stripes.
Yeah, Freak Show, or whatever the guy's name was. Psycho. That's what they call it.
Yeah, Psycho. Yeah,
that's a classic movie. But okay, so the bottom line on this is that he's saying that it's a fact that she wasn't 9, or it's a fact that nobody knows. No. That's not how facts are determined. So if you're going to use this word fact, make sure that you know what the word means before you say it. Not your opinion, and not the opinions of these other people who want to move dates around here and say so-and-so lived at this time and she died at this time and then he was here at that. No. When you have clear attestations, when it specifically says, and she was 9, or and I was 9 when he consummated the marriage with me, and I was 18 when he died, and everything else says that she lived with him for 9 years, all these things line up just perfectly. When you start trying to get the other things incorporated into that, that's when it starts becoming problematic. Go ahead.
Kenny says the math is complicated. But here, let me just, I'm not going to share this, but let's just go over this really quickly here. Okay, Khadija died.
No. Are you going to show? Are you going to show that Excel sheet that you were doing?
No, because I can't. Anyway.
Okay. All right. I understand. It's a work in progress. You don't want to show it.
Right.
Cool.
Right. But so here's what I have.
But it's a great idea, though.
Yeah, Khadija dies in 620 AD. Okay. All right. Aisha is married at 620. Okay, at 620 after Khadija dies. Okay, Aisha is 6 years old. Okay, reportedly. Okay, Mo immigrates to Medina in 622 AD. So that would put Aisha around 8 years of age. Okay, all right. 22, 24. Yeah. Well, 8. Okay, so this depending on the month. Okay, so you know what I mean. So it could be 8 or not, or 8 or 7. Okay, you know what I mean. So 622, Aisha would be 8 at 622. Okay, Aisha, it is reported, moves in and lives with Mo, the famous. She was on the swing set. Kenny said before, it's not like Muslims are hanging outside of playgrounds. Well, Muhammad was, because she was on the swing set, dude. Okay, when they grabbed her off that swing set and pinched her cheeks and washed her hair and gussied her up and sent her to Muhammad. Okay, in 622. I'm sorry, in 624. So that would definitely put Aisha at 9. Okay, 9 or 10, depending on the month. Okay, you know what I mean? Okay. Battle of Khaybar, and this is the thing that Kenny was appealing to. The Battle of Khaybar, okay, was in 628 AD. Okay, Aisha would have been at 13 or 14 years of age, again, depending on the month. Okay, all right, okay, 13 or 14 years of age. Okay, they actually argue in Ascalani. He points this out. Ascalani points this out. Okay, all right, and then Muhammad dies in 632. Well, guess what? That would make Aisha 17 or 18 years old, depending on the month. Yes, what?
Steve.
Brad. Okay, so we were looking at, because this is what we have no life. We were drilling down on this Ascalani quote last night, trying to figure out where we could get it primary source. Well, we went and we found the primary source for it. The problem was it's written in Arabic, and we don't read Arabic.
Actually, no. Let me share this. Yeah, let me share this.
I was going to say, send it to Steve. Well, Steve just got here. Steve will read it for us and tell us what it says.
Yeah.
Well, no, because we'd have to find that exact page and everything.
Right.
Well, hold on. Maybe we can do this.
Oh wait,
No.
let me see if I have it. Hold on, let me see if I have it up here.
Do you have it?
Oh, come on, guys! Really? I mean.
All right,
you
all right.
don't-
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we'll send
I get it. But I mean, this is how anal we are when we try to find these. When we try to establish these.
All right. But here's what you need to understand.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
That's good. Okay, this is what we were doing last night. We're going back and forth trying to find the original source for what Ascalani said, because Ascalani lays it. I mean, and the reason why we're going with him is this is because this is the source that Kenny cited. So we went in and said, okay, well, what does Ascalani actually say? Ascalani actually goes in and he says that, okay, she was such and such at the age at Khaybar. We know she was, 14 at Khaybar. The Battle of Khaybar occurred in 628. So she's 14 in 628. Muhammad dies in 632. That makes her 18. So that lines up just fine with the rest of the hadiths because she was with him for 9 years. And you subtract 9 from 18, and that gives you 9.
9.
Oh my gosh, it works.
So
You got to go try something else, though. It's just absolutely amazing the desperation this guy has to go through in order to try to make it say something else.
Share my screen, dude. So he's playing the funky math here. Okay, can you make it bigger? I don't know.
I can do anything that you can do better. I can. Okay, I can read it. It says, "I used to play with dolls in the presence of the Prophet, and with my girlfriends also used to play with me. When Allah's messenger used to enter my dwelling, they used to hide themselves, but the Prophet would call to them to join and play with me. The playing with dolls and similar images is forbidden, but it was not allowed for Aisha at that time, as she was a little girl, not yet reached the age of puberty."
And that is from Fat Ubani, page 143, volume 13. That's the Ashkelani quote, right there. Everything in parens. Okay,
right.
The playing with dolls and similar images is forbidden, but it was allowed for Aisha at that time, as she was a little girl, not yet reached the age of puberty. Now, here's the thing. Here's what people like Kenny and Muslims say. Well, this was at the time of Khaybar. She was 14.
No.
No, she was. No. What's the problem with that?
Well, the problem is that at Khaybar, she was 14 years old. She would have already been beyond the age of puberty, for one. But then Kenny would say, well, no, she was stressed out, and her hormone imbalance, and for whatever.
But that's not what that's saying, though. No. That's
Exactly.
not what that's
Exactly. So they will move this forward and say that this was actually at Khaybar. Okay, because this is what I was reading on Islamic websites. No, that's not when this. No, first of all, her dwelling place. Okay, this is not at the Battle of Khaybar. Okay, or they'll say this was during the prenuptials, if you will, the time when they were engaged. No, because it would not say her dwelling place, because she had her own separate dwelling place, as all the Prophet's wife has. Because you can't have all the hoes living in the same hoe house. You know what I mean? You got to spread them around. If you got a strong pan, you can't. You know what I mean? You can't. I mean, seriously, you got your hoes. Look, dude, their periods sync up, and then, if they have periods, but the older ones, they have their periods, they sync up. And, you know what I mean? You got to keep them hoes separate.
All right, let's lay off the hose. All right, let's
strong pan like Muhammad did.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right, let's.
I can take the show down, can I? Anyway,
I know. I mean, I just don't want to go down that road about the fact. What we're trying to do is we're using the sources that he cited, which was Ascalani, as he was using as some type of refutation that she wasn't 9 when.
But he never cited Ashkelani. He just cites his 2019 article, and he actually says when David confronts him on this, he says, "I didn't do the man's research, but this is what he's saying. He's a scholar." Do you have the quote from Ashkelani? Because I do. Go ahead.
Well, Ashkelani died in the 14th century. or the 13th century.
Oh,
Ashkelani,
details. Come on, really?
how can you have an article from Ashkelani? He's been
Right.
dead for 700 years.
But according to Kenny, we can't believe Ashkelani because Ashkelani wasn't there, right? I mean, no. Well, that's another thing. So
There you
Well,
go.
all he was doing, the only thing that let's make sure we understand this. The only thing that Ashkelani did was add, I don't want to say meaning, but cleared up a cultural norm at that time. Why? How do we know she was prepubescent? We know she was prepubescent. Why? Because she had her dolls with her at that time, and only little girls were allowed to keep dolls. That's the only thing he's trying to clear up there.
And all those Sahih hadith, that say she was prepubescent.
Right. That's just.
Well, okay. So you got another one, dude? 'Cause...
I think I do. Let's see here. Let's go to. This is priceless. Okay. 4117 to 4145.
Okay.
4117 to 4145.
Just tell me when to stop. So let me share the screen again. Stop sharing. Reshare.
Sorry. COVID.
Are you still with that, man, dude?
No, I don't have it. I just every time I sneeze, I just say COVID.
Dude, I got a guy, man, that I worked with. He got it during that Christmas break. Okay, like the day after Christmas. He wasn't vaccinated. And, dude, he's still suffering from it, dude.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, and he's healthy. And he's, youngish, but you know what I mean? But, yeah, he's a Jehovah's Witness, though, I think. So,
Yeah, because COVID tried to mess with me and it lost.
All right, but here we go. I'm sharing it now. Do y'all see it? All right, you ready?
Now, go ahead.
Here we go.
Okay, are you at 41? At the mark 41? What was it? Why isn't this coming up for me? 4117. All right, 4117, 4145. All right, go.
Accused. In my book, Consider Islam Disproving the Patriots of Propaganda.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
I don't know.
It's in.
Dude, you didn't download this?
Hold on. We'll refresh.
Talk about the Prophet, peace be upon him, making the night journey to Jerusalem and to paradise and to the Prophet,
41. What did you want at?
Splitting the moon
17.
and so forth. They reject all that. It's hypocrisy.
Here we go.
It's intellectual dishonesty. It's Islamophobic dishonesty without question. And again, you often find out more about the accuser than the one being accused. In my book, Consider Islam Disproving the Patriots of Propaganda, I mentioned the misinformation effect, which occurs when people are influenced by what they hear instead of having firsthand knowledge or facts about an event. And the issue is even more problematic when people pass off information repeatedly by word of mouth. And passing on information by word of mouth often results in loss of information, distorted information.
So he's against the narration. So what does
What did he just
Wow.
Did he just diss the entire Quran?
He just dissed the entire Quran, the Hadith literature, all of that stuff.
Wow.
He just threw all of everything that we think the traditions of Islam.
We got to get a clip of that.
Under the bus.
Imam throws Quran
Muslims,
under the bus.
Muslims, how do you feel about that? Huh?
I'm gonna put together a video of Kenny's blunders, dude. I mean, just Kenny arguing against Islam because he does. He actually, the only thing he did throughout this whole debate was cause Muslims to doubt Islam. Put reasonable doubts in Muslims.
Yeah.
And that's it. All because Kenny said that men attracted to 9-year-old girls are perverts, and he was like, "Oh crap!"
Gotta walk that one back. Yeah, but when he said that, I was just, and I went actually because I watched the debate after the debate. I had to replay that. I was like, there's something he didn't say correctly there, or there's got to be some type of disqualifier. But notice what he said. He said, no. Word of mouth information is lost. It's distorted. You get various versions. Yes, you do. We agree. This is why when we look at the New Testament was written down early. It was passed around in writing. It wasn't oral tradition. The Quran, oral tradition. The Hadith, oral tradition. The Sirah, oral tradition. All of that literature is oral tradition. So if you were going to say that it gets distorted and information is lost, you get various versions. I agree. So we can agree with the Imam there.
Kenny, I'd like to say that
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yep.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, it's just amazing some of this, and these are just a few of the things. You know, when I was going through this and we were doing this show on Sunday, I actually had 7 pages of stuff that I wrote out of timestamps to go through, but you just can't go through all of this stuff. On a show like this, and plus people get bored. You don't sit there and say, okay, well, you keep mocking him. Well, if you wouldn't make so many idiotic statements within the 20-minute period, we wouldn't have to mock him. But the problem is that he takes himself too seriously. He takes himself very seriously. And when you do this and you come up against people who can actually go back and fact check what you're saying, don't get all butthurt when your lies and distortions are pointed out. And that's what we've done.
Exactly.
Again, well, he's actually doing his debate review supposedly in a few minutes. I actually have to cook dinner. Well, no, it's 6 o'clock. I have to cook dinner at 6:30, so I might be able to join at 7 if he's still going on. I'm sure he won't even get to it till about 7. But I do plan on joining. I do plan on asking him several questions because. One, I mean, no, because you know what? Look, do you got any more timestamps you want to play?
No, I don't. I don't.
I want to pray I want to play the cross examination, because that's really where it just falls apart for Kenny.
All right,
David just
hammers it. Yeah. Let's go for it.
All right, so let me get out of this.
Oh, hold on. Look at this statement here by XYZ. Hold on, let me put this here. Yeah, this is. Hold on, let me put it up there. There we go. This is where we were kind of pointing out the fact that he's a freshman doctoral student at Mishka University. Now he said, this might just be up his alley too, because Mishka, he said, has moved to Houston, and he said he plans on completing his degree. And power to you. I admire that because it is hard to go. It's really hard to go back to school at an older age. But the Mishka University, you know what it used to be called?
What?
Sharia University. University.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and they figured that's just a little too much. We might get a little pushback. So they pulled back from that.
And then there was a time when CP, before Kenny really got into the limelight of things, CP made a comment about him.
Today we have a Muslim Abdul here. He have a very high education. Graduated from University of Pakistan with degree with camel urine and how to shave your ass.
Oh, dude. No. Somebody mute this. I'm not going. Okay.
I think it might be.
I think it's Ed. Yeah, because these 2 speakers. But anyway.
Okay.
All right. No. So. I remember I was listening to this, and all of a sudden, this is after I had the brief interaction with Kenny on your show or on the Facebook, and I heard his voice on your show. And dude, I never thought anything about him. And like months later, we'll have to go back to the timestamp, but it's like months later, I'm listening to CP, and all of a sudden, this dude calls in the CP show, and he's like, "Yeah, I just want to tell you, I bought your book, and I thought it was horrible, and I couldn't read it, and I just threw it in the garbage."
Yeah, I remember this.
And CP's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Who's that voice? I've heard that voice before." And I was chatting with Jay. I'm like, "Dude, is that dude on Pal Talk? Who is this dude?" He's going on and on and on. And then I'm like, "That's Kenny." And I start typing chat. It's Kenny. And then CP's like, well, "Is your name Kenny?" And Kenny says, "I don't know anybody named Kenny."
Right.
But no,
look how they'll just blatantly lie.
Exactly. No,
Kenny
didn't lie. Kenny says he didn't lie. Kenny says, because we confronted him, Kenny says he didn't lie. I don't think anybody knew in all my life. But no, Kenny.
We lost you, Red.
We can barely hear you, Ratto.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. But Kenny says, okay, when confronted, I don't know, CP was talking about how the stupid hadith and Muhammad said sperm lives in a woman for 5 years or something like that. I don't know. It was one of those goofy things that CP always brings up. And Kenny says, look, man, I'm 40-something years old, and I'm a sperm. I'm a walking, talking sperm. That's what we are. We are all sperm. So yeah, sperm can live for 40 years. I'm proof of that. I've, like whatever, dude. The walking, talking sperm, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Do you know what Islam really reminds me of more than anything else? It reminds me of the Borg from Star Trek.
I was just thinking that, dude. I was just thinking that. All right, you guys ready for the Q&A?
I've never seen the Borg from Star Trek. I've heard of the
Oh,
Borg.
Oh, man.
Eric.
You need to watch
Dude.
Voyager.
Eric,
Watch
come
Voyager.
on, man.
Not Voyager.
I know it.
You're hurting me,
no.
man.
No.
He's got to step up.
I've seen Voyager, where they call it the V'ger. They call it that one. Where
Well, that's
No.
Voyager. Yeah, that's
No,
that's
Voyager.
No, that's
Where
Klingon.
Janeway whips him up.
That's
No,
Klingons. That's
she's a
Klingons.
bald-headed-
Dude, you're thinking about.
No, she's a bald-headed chick, and
Yeah,
she calls
that's
the
709, 709.
No,
Yeah, that's- no,
he's
no.
thinking V'ger. V'ger.
that's
no,
V'ger.
that's
Voyager.
way
No.
back when.
All right,
That's,
okay.
that's way too early.
All right, well, don't worry. I'll
Watch Voyager with Janeway.
I'll have to look Star Trek.
Yeah,
Hey,
those are the best.
We're all Trekkie fans, I guess, huh?
Yeah, buddy.
So even then, when a guy from Alabama met the Muslim, he said,
We thought you was a toad.
That's it.
"Oh brother, where art thou?"
Oh brother, we're out there.
I've heard about that.
Echo.
It's Eddie Van Halen. It's his fault. All right,
Yeah,
so let's get
okay.
playing with this. So go ahead. I'll
right.
bring it up. Share my screen. All right, here we go. So this is the free for all. This is where it gets good. Here we go.
Okay, full screen.
Kenny, for your rebuttal. And with that, we are going to go into 15 minutes of open conversation and dialogue. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Yes, Kenny, you keep saying that I'm the one saying that the marriage was consummated when Aisha was 9, and yet source after source after source that I quoted to you. So, for instance, Sunan an-Nasai 3380, it was narrated that Aisha said, "The Messenger of Allah married me when I was 6 and consummated the marriage with me when I was 9, and I used to play with dolls." You keep attributing this to me, and I'm the one quoting Aisha. Now, my question for you is, if Aisha was this wrong, why do you keep saying she's a great scholar? If I can't trust her on when Muhammad had intercourse with her, and I can't tell the difference between when I'm 19 and when I'm 9, why should we believe her about anything?
You see what he's done again. So David Wood, what he's done again, he's gone to right back to the same.
Aisha.
He's gone to the sources,
issue, right?
So Aisha.
So right back to. Please don't interrupt me, but going right back to the same issue. Now, trying to disqualify the fact that the reason I put these books up here is to demonstrate that they all say a different age.
Books from 1924 and above.
Yeah, can you stop it?
They all say a different age.
Now notice when he starts quoting or citing these books. Now look at me. Look at the stack of books. I can get a stack of books back here too. Let me do this.
Right.
This stack. Hold on. Here's the Quran. Here's the laws of Islam. Here's the Sirah. Here's this is a study Quran. I forgot I had this. Okay. Anyway, I got all this literature here. Look at here.
Mm-hmm.
And it all says different things.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm right. Now forget the fact that he goes to the very sources that he trusts the most and he completely disqualifies them, discounts them. Why? Because he knows exactly what they do. They make his prophet look like the pervert everybody else says that he is. And when
everybody else knows that he is, not says, but knows that he is.
But when you say that, this is where people get their undies in a bunch. Oh, well, that's hateful. That's hate speech. No, dude, that is the truth according to your sources. When you start picking up books and saying, look at all these modern scholars who went and picked out this date here and went over here and pointed at this date here. And then they did the math and they subtracted this from here. And then they went over to this event here and they added in over. It makes zero sense to try to do that when you have specific, distinct, concise dates nailed out everywhere else.
Sources,
it's just not one source. There's 5 of the 6 main compilers of a hadith say she was 9.
The sources that he's quoting, the modern 20th century and 21st century sources he's quoting, actually reference Ashkelani, reference Ibn Kathir, reference all the actual true sources of Islam, but they don't provide any quotes. They don't provide any citations. But Kenny says, later on, he said, no, I've quoted these sources. Ashkelani, Ibn Kathir. Okay, what's the source? And when we read it, guess what? No, it does not say the things that these sources are saying. He says, and then later he actually says in the end of this, I did not do their research. I don't know, but let's continue because I want to get to that. Here we go.
All right, sorry.
They've studied the issue. They've written books on the issue.
Where
they
did
all
Aisha say a different age? Where did Aisha say a different age?
They all say a different age based on what they've studied of the hadith. Now,
where did any of Muhammad's companions give a different age?
David Wood,
right?
You're not a Muslim scholar,
right? But
not,
that's why I'm quoting.
You haven't studied in
Muslim
any
scholars,
school.
Ibn Kathir, Jalalain.
But in this book, by example, it says that she was 11 years old. So when a reasonable person gets this book and gets another book and another book and another book, and they all have different ages,
what's the reference?
They're giving sources.
What's the reference?
Read the books.
Sahih Bukhari.
Read the books.
Where?
Read the books.
You can just
Again, so Sahih Bukhari.
Sahih Muslim.
So you agree in Sahih Bukhari? Let's
skirt telling.
Okay, great. So, okay, great. So Sahih Bukhari.
Mm-hmm.
So do you agree that that the Prophet, peace be upon him, based on the Sahih collection, that he made the night journey to Jerusalem and to paradise, and that he split the moon? Do you believe that?
No.
Okay, why?
I believe that he claimed it, and I believe that's what they believed,
okay.
and that's why they recorded it. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
But they're Sahih. But they're Sahih.
Yeah.
David just said.
Are they Sahih or not?
Stop. Let's clear this up. Let's make sure we understand what he's doing here. He's saying, well, if you don't believe this, then there's no way that you can believe that. The fact is that I don't believe any of it. To be honest, I don't believe any of these things happen.
Yeah, I believe.
I don't believe split the moon. I don't believe exactly. That's exactly right. I believe that you believe that he said it. I believe that your Muslim scholars compiled this using the same criterion as they did for the age of Aisha, as they did for the splitting of the moon, as they did for the night journey, all of these things. So he said these things. That's what we believe. We're not trying to lend any type of veracity of whether or not he did take a night journey to the moon, or he split the moon, or whatever the heck it was. We're not trying to say that those things happen, but we're saying is that the Sahih narration, people believe that these are the things that he said, and these are the facts as far as they know them are established, and nothing else says that she was anything other than 9.
And I want to know why all of this stuff is on a website in the Saudi Arabia. Excuse me, is in the website of the official government of Saudi Arabia. What's it doing there? If this is all bull, what's it doing there?
He doesn't like the Saudis. He's say Saudi Arabia.
I don't care if he likes the Saudis or not. He's a Sunni Muslim. I mean, come on, that's where it's all at, man. That's Mecca. You don't have a choice, Kenny.
Right. Exactly.
But let's continue some more on this because it gets really better or worse for Kenny. Here we go.
Look, you're saying, Aisha says I'm 9 years old, and you're saying, well, if I believe Aisha saying that she was 9 years old when Muhammad had sex with her, therefore I had to believe that Muhammad took a night journey to Jerusalem. It doesn't work like that.
So
Aisha says she was 9. Aisha says she was 9. That doesn't mean I have to believe every ridiculous story that Muhammad came up with.
Okay. So again, do you see the unbalanced scale here, right? So in the same Sahih collection,
I know.
In the same Sahih collection,
and Kenny's unbiased.
He wants to
Kenny's
reject
an unbiased
anything
person.
good about the Prophet.
He has no agenda.
No, I believe those.
Reject anything
I believe those
good.
stories. I believe those stories go back, but I believe Muhammad was a liar and making things up.
Okay,
And he
so
was
there we
delusional.
go.
Are you saying Aisha was making things up?
No,
Aisha made
no,
up
I'm
her
not saying
age.
anything.
She's a
I'm saying
liar.
that these
She's a great scholar.
scholars-
Why would Muhammad marry her?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that when I read on this,
Notice
issue,
the books,
okay,
dude. They're
I'm
not
reading
even read.
Muslim and non-Muslim scholars
not even
and
read.
historians
You know what
on
I
the
mean?
issue. And the reason they're drawing their conclusions is because based on what they have seen and based on what this person
They're only
says and that
tagged in the
person
first
says,
50
and
pages.
breaking down the
Exactly.
hadith mathematically, what the historical facts are on the
historical
issue,
facts.
they've come to different
Quote those historical
conclusions,
facts.
which tells
Quote
anyone with
do
a
that. That's
reasonable
what you
mind
have to do,
that there's
Kenny.
reasonable doubt about being able to. If we were in a literal court based
his
on this
courtroom.
information, we couldn't convict someone today. But in modern
What a
times, we must
liar.
convict the prophet
Again, we're
of
talking about
something.
morality, Kenny, not
Wait,
a criminal court.
Let me stop this here. Well, first of all, his whole thing that this is a criminal court, that presupposes that Muhammad is guilty of something. Okay, but that's beside the point. Think about what he's arguing here, okay? Because two sides disagree, okay, or because there's a disagreement over an event, that means you can't convict someone. No, okay, everybody has an opinion. That would mean that, for instance, Derek Chauvin, who is convicted of murder in St. George Floyd, would not have been able to convict Derek Chauvin because guess what? The defense attorney and the prosecution had theories. They disagreed. What you do is you go by the evidence, not by the opinion of the prosecutor and the defense. In other words, Kenny, we would not be able to convict anyone if all you did was bring up unsupported opinions by your scholars because you did not bring up their evidence. That's the thing. That's what Kenny doesn't get. Kenny just thinks, oh, I could read a book and that was written in 2019 and it says this and I don't have to do the research and look up the sources because, well, first of all, they don't give any sources. Even if they did, I don't have to go and look and read that on my own. No, I'm just going to go by their opinion. But let's continue. I'm sorry, I digress, but let's continue.
Something that he
Good
wasn't
point.
there
All right,
about. He doesn't
ladies
really
and
know.
gentlemen, is it
He
too-
doesn't really know
am I
when
being
the marriage is
unreasonable for
consummated.
asking for one reference? I mean, I gave like 20. Am I unreasonable for asking for one? If Aisha says over and over and over again, and 11 of the Tabi'in report this directly from Aisha herself, and other companions of Muhammad state it from their own observations that she was 9. If this is what we have saying that Aisha was 9, and you're saying, well, maybe she was 11, maybe she was 13, maybe she was 18, maybe she was 19. Is it too much to say, give me one single reference in anything remotely resembling an authentic
I just want to
Muslim
point out
source
here.
to show that?
Okay, great.
Instead,
David
no, we'll go to the
dominated
encyclopedia.
this. David dominated this cross examination or this open discussion. Kenny was wishing. Oh, I wish I could put him backstage. I wish I had the red dot. Oh, why did I do that?
He don't want to be backstage with David. I've been up close and front and personal with David, and he's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big boy, dude. I'm just saying. But yeah, go ahead. Here we go.
We know that people disagree today. Why?
What he means by backstage was backstage. This is what Kenny does to everybody that comes onto his show. He says, "Oh, you can question Kenny for an hour." So when you get on, like Rad, let's say Rad wants to go ask Kenny a question. So what he'll do is he'll say, "Oh, look at who I have here backstage that wants to ask me a question. This is that Islamophobic, bigot, racist." Radical moderate out of Chicago who said X, Y, and Z. He's nothing but a loathsome piece of crap. Okay, so Rad, when I bring you on here, you're going to apologize me. You're going to call me Imam, show me the respect that I deserve, and you're going to ask your question, then you're going to get off. So Rad has to get on there saying, "Oh, Kenny, Imam Bomer, I believe that you're the next best thing to sliced bread, and here's my question." Then he asks the question, and then the mom goes, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that question. Let me put you backstage." Insults him for another 5 minutes, and then gets around to answering the question without any type of rebuttal. That's what he means by a Kenny backstage thing. That's what exactly what he does.
He'll read a whole chapter from his book. Anyway, let's continue.
All right, I'm
Muslim
sorry.
scholars and apologists keep circulating these articles filled with lies, and then someone like Gary Wills will come along and say, "Oh, Muslims don't
Okay,
know
just
when
prove my
she,
case- my
Muslims
case
don't
again."
know how old she was.
No, he
There
didn't,
must be
Kenny.
all this disagreement."
Okay.
No,
So
there's
he-
zero disagreement.
So for the second
Right.
time, he's proved my case. He just said that Muslim scholars they
Today.
go
Yes,
in
they do.
circles and they say this. He's calling
No, he
them
didn't.
liars. But they have
No,
legitimate
he
reasons for what they say.
didn't.
And
Not
they
references,
have,
apparently.
Not references, apparently.
I love it how he just jumps out there and says, "Oh, he just proved my case."
No, he
Really?
destroyed your case.
No.
Kenny. He's been destroying your case the whole night.
He
Right.
completely.
So do we know
He
if this guy actually
completely-
graduated from a high school?
He
He
completely
got a GED,
melted
I
your
believe.
case.
I believe he got a GED. Well, okay.
So he didn't graduate.
Well,
I mean, do we
I
know
got a
that he
GED.
actually has a GED?
Okay, well, hold on a second. Well, first of all, do not.
Those
do
are
not
hard to get
have-
these days.
Well,
Going back to
GEDs.
okay, if
No.
in order to get into college, you have to have a GED, and if he goes to
unless it's
Michigan
an
University,
Islamic school or an unaccredited
Yeah.
school.
Okay,
I didn't
all right.
think about
Here,
that. Okay,
here it is in a nutshell, guys. This is exactly what David Wood was thinking. All right.
Calm. I'm laughing at the superior intellect.
Okay,
That's
what's
a
that?
Star
that
Trek
was a great
reference. That's the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Star Trek
right.
the movie.
Okay,
Anyway,
is that with William Shatner?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Well,
William
right.
Shatner and the guy that played in Back to the Future with Marty, Doc Brown. Doc Brown, yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So I
No,
the
I'm sorry,
GED.
Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah,
Ricardo
exactly.
Montalban.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah. Okay. All right, so Red, go ahead.
Let's
Sorry.
get back to Kenny. So I don't know if Kenny graduated or got a GED, and just to let you know, I got my GED because I wasn't stupid. While everybody else was trying to study hard and graduate to high school, I said I can wait a year and just get my go to work, and I can wait a year and I can go take a test. Dude, when I took that test, I passed it first time, not even being out of high school for a year. That's how smart I am. See, I'm really smart. I'm smart. No. But anyway, so I got my
Sound like Marshall Gregory when you say
Yeah,
that.
right. Well, no,
Okay,
because
Fredo.
I'm talking to people, from my old high school class. They're like, "Yeah, you never graduated." I'm like, "Yeah, I wasn't stupid like you, dude. I didn't waste 4 years of my life. I was out working, making money. You know what I mean? I went and took a test while you idiots were, Anyway, that's just my opinion. Anyway, so I don't know if he got a GED or if he actually graduated high school. But one thing is for certain. The only classes he took of higher education were 2 classes where he enrolled that we know of, that he enrolled because he's very proud of this. He enrolled in he used to say Michigan, or everybody thought he said Michigan. I swear he typed it out in Facebook.
Well, if you watch our intro, Danny Davis, Devil Davis, who calls into a show too, and he puts him in the back. Anyway, challenged him, one night on his show. And says, I don't think you ever went to Michigan University. And he's like, I did go to Michigan University. And Danny's like, you never went to Michigan University. And he's like, I did. And then if you watch the intro, he takes it gets him so doggone mad because he's having his creds challenge. He's like, bam, and he table. And I'm like, how can you be so doggone shallow when people would challenge you on that?
And he put up the emails where he said, just to confirm, I'm enrolled in this class. And it's like an online mail order class. I don't know, for some.
Okay, well, I took a lot of classes.
Florida.
Okay, I took a lot of classes online because I was in the Army, and I took I didn't take all of them, but a majority of them I took at night. But I took a lot of classes online, and there's not a lot of. I mean, there's some shortcomings that online learning does have. But you can still learn, and you can still get genuine college credit by taking classes online.
Right.
I'm not discounting that. We're just
like,
saying that okay.
P.O. box. I'm just saying.
What's that?
He sent stuff into a P.O. box, but that's beside the point. Oh, they weren't even accredited. But no. Anyway, they had to close down and stuff. Anyway, so I looked into this, but anyway, the only thing. No, okay. So he did pay money, and he did enroll in these 2 classes of analytical tafsir or something like that. Okay, and or logic and tafsir, the analytical study of the tafsirs or something like that. And you always bring this up. Hey, I went to Michigan University. I studied analytical tafsir. Did you do that? No, and I wouldn't do that anyway. But no, okay. Point being is this. Yeah, so he puts up the emails, okay, where he got the response, yes, you are enrolled. Did he pass? Did he even attend? Did he even, you know what I mean? Did he drop out? Did he get a refund? I don't know. Because he never says he passed the classes. He never says, that he got a grade or even intended. You know what I mean? Okay, but that's beside the point. The dude, seriously, has like no education whatsoever, dude. Anyway, let's continue on.
Are we going to continue? Okay.
I like. Okay, this is okay. I like this. Hamza from Speaker's Corner said it's already an ending subject. The men sells panties for a living.
Wow. Okay.
That's fun. Okay, I'm sorry. That's funny right there.
I've already mentioned what these people say in these articles and in these books. I've already mentioned that. Now again, he's proving my case for me because he's now admitting again for the second time that the Muslims have disagreement. Now he wants to latch on to one side and not consider the other side because it doesn't fit his agenda. And so what a logical person has to look at all this information, and you cannot pick up 10 books and read through 10 books and get 10 different ages and say, this one's the one I'm going to go with. You can't do that.
10 modern books.
Right.
I mean, not if you're a sincere person, unbiased, with no reason to,
I know.
No reason.
To draw a illogical conclusion. Obviously, it would be illogical to say, all right, I've looked at these 10 books and I'm just going to mini, mini, mo, I'm going to go with that one. Now,
that's what he does in his own hadith.
That he's talking about. They were, from what the scholars state, that they were narrated by someone by the name of Hisham.
This is wrong.
When he migrated from Medina to Iraq.
That's a lie.
I'm telling you what.
That's a lie. And by the way,
you calling me a liar? Or you calling the scholars?
Yeah, we're calling you a liar, Kenny.
No, well, you're not a liar. But you heard I read the article, right?
Yeah, I read the article.
So
I showed. No, just stop there. Listen to this.
Yeah, we're calling you a liar, Kenny.
You're not calling me a liar. You heard I read the article, right? In other words, that's the only thing that he's concerned about. I read the article. Okay,
but he's not reading his hadith.
No, exactly. But let's continue because this gets good. This is where it gets really good.
So this comes from 11 different tabi'in and multiple other companions.
No. So the Muslim scholars.
Do you know who Hisham was?
The Muslim scholars are stating, that now I'm not arguing. Keep in mind, I'm not arguing for one side or the other. Y'all don't know what I actually believe.
Yeah, yes.
Because the point is, I don't know what to believe on the issue. That's what I believe.
Who is
I don't know what to believe on it.
I don't know what to believe.
So why are you even there, Kenny? Do you not know what the debate is about?
Right.
I just walked off the street, dude. I was, smoking some crack and doing some heroin, and they came up to me.
That has got to be about that has got to be about the biggest dishonest statement of the debate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe.
I don't know what to believe. Are you kidding me? If you cannot believe that she was 9, then you cannot believe anything that is true of Islam, because you have too many sources, too many different sources, not just one source. He's going after Hisham, and Hisham, his memory was bad. He was old, and then shut your pie hole. That's just one. You have all kinds of different narrations that don't go through Hisham. This is folks. This is what desperation looks like. This is what it looks like.
Kenny in this debate is unbiased. He doesn't have an agenda. He's not trying to. I know, seriously. So when you're talking about dishonesty, I mean, there's levels to this. But here's the thing. Let's just continue playing because we're running out of time here because it gets really good here. Hold on.
Issue because there's conflicting evidence, and I'm not going to allow any Muslim to impede on my judgment. I'm not going to allow an Islamophobe to impede on my judgment.
Wow.
A person who approaches this unbiasedly has to say, I don't know what to believe, because obviously none of these people are talking about it. No historian, no scholar, Muslim or non-Muslim alike, people from Encyclopedia, Hazelton, none of these people were there.
But that's the ones you relying on. Those are the people that he saved. Oh God, this guy is a moron. I'm sorry, he is just dumb. Kenny, you are dumb.
Aisha was there.
They weren't there. They're saying what someone else said. Hashem is narrating from what his father told him. And
Who was his father?
again, let me make the point about
Hashem is narrating from his father. That's all the narrations. Oh my God! So no, he's gonna. If he is logically consistent, he will actually have to turn out to be a Qurani only. But even he can't be a Qurani only because he says word of mouth corrupts and destroys stuff. But let's continue because here's where it gets good.
Who's his father?
the fact. Hold on, I want to make the point about. Okay. Yeah, I don't need. Okay,
Tell them who Hashem's father was.
So the point being is that Hashem is known historically to have had a compromised memory. Now, this is what I've read in multiple works. He had a compromised memory. He was in his 70s, and that caused the hadith to be in question.
Joe
On top of
Biden's
that,
in his 70s.
it only came from Iraqi sources. It only came from Iraqi sources.
Can't trust those
And
Iraqis.
Never.
The scholars have a problem with that because they say
Because
it doesn't make sense.
They're Iraqis.
Okay,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, who was Hashem? Do you know?
Go ahead and tell us.
You know who
Yeah,
Hashem
I know
was?
who he was. Tell us all about it.
Yeah,
Who was
tell
it?
us all
I
about it.
know. He's the one that narrated those hadiths. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. But who was he?
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't know.
Yeah, I know. He was. Yeah, I do know.
Who was he?
See,
I mean,
when
he's a
Kenny
grandson
gets
of someone,
busted, he
right.
doesn't know. This is how he responds.
He was the son of Zubair.
Okay, and the grandson of who?
He was that.
What does that matter?
Abu Bakr.
Okay, great.
So,
but what does that matter?
Zubair is Aisha's
Kenny-
nephew. Hashem is his son. He gets the hadith from his father, who is Aisha's nephew, who got everything from Aisha, and that's just one source. That's just one of 11. That's just one of 11 sources who recorded it from Aisha. So you got Aisha, guys. If you have 11 different people all reporting the same story from Aisha, and it's confirmed by multiple companions of Muhammad, if you don't know that, if you can't say, if that's in dispute, if you say, I've got 11 people all reporting the same exact story from the same exact girl,
Yep.
and that's just no evidence because, you know, you've got the encyclopedia, New World Encyclopedia or something on your side, then fine. Don't tell me we know anything about these people.
Okay.
Don't tell me we know anything. If I can't trust 11 witnesses plus a bunch of companions, we can't trust them. Don't tell me we know anything about your
Right.
prophet.
Okay.
All we conclude is that there was mass lying and your sources are completely unreliable.
Right.
I'm fine with that. But if we actually take your sources remotely seriously, Aisha was 9, 9.
Yep.
And we get down to the modern period, Muslims are embarrassed because this is a source
Exactly.
of great criticism. Some make things up, and notice that's what he's quoting. He's quoting someone who says this all comes from one source, Hashem. It's a total lie. Someone made that up, put it in an article. It's a lie. It's been exposed repeatedly. It's been exposed for years.
Okay,
He's
all right.
repeating it. He didn't even know who Hashem was.
So someone made it up and put it in. Are they're making up lies and put it in an article?
Yes, that's a total lie.
So everything about Islam, the Muslims are all lying, and
No,
they're
Conflation.
all making
this is the
manufacturing.
amazing thing.
Listen to him
conflation.
complain.
Yeah, exactly. No. In this specific instance,
That's
yes,
all a
we're
lie.
being
They're all
lied to.
lying, right?
All lies.
No.
Anyway, I actually have to go cut out early. So we're running on at 6:30. I don't know if you guys are gonna run over, but I do have to go because
No, that's all right. We need to cut out of here anyway.
All right. I think that's a good
And
point,
this
Ken.
is about as
Oh,
much.
Kenny is broadcasting. I plan on listening. I plan on joining probably about 7 o'clock if I
Well,
can.
we'll probably double his viewership if we go over there.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That would
This
be
is a
fun.
guy with. And I sent him an email the other night saying, "Hey, you got 20,000 subscribers, but you get about the same number of views as I do. Why is that? I only got like 400."
Because he's a fraud and a liar. But
Because he has fake accounts.
Well,
Exactly.
that's neither here nor there. I mean, it's just it's good. But what does my heart good is to see the number of people that actually do view these shows. The number of people
you
that
got real
comment on,
people.
people that comment on these shows, the people that come here and participate in the chat. That is what it just motivates me to keep doing this, and I absolutely love it.
And by the way,
come in and do this.
people comment in the chat, not in the live chat, but comment, make comments on the YouTube videos as well as comment on Facebook.
And I don't delete any of those comments, by the way.
Exactly.
Anytime somebody comments on my videos, I leave them up, because what I want people to do is I want people to see, like, what's the ballerina guy out of the Philippines? What was that guy's name?
I don't know.
Oh, you mean Aladdin?
Aladdin. Yeah, Aladdin is sending me messages every day about, well, you got to clean up your show. I don't want to. I'll never come to your show, dude. I don't want you to come to my show. You're the one that thinks Muhammad is a great guy when he did this to a little. Shut up! I don't care. So when you get people that do that, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming to the show and doing that, and the people that come here and they participate and they give us their opinions, their expertise, and their knowledge on all of these things, and it really is a blessing for me, and I appreciate you so very much.
All right, I gotta go. It's a hard.
All right, well, get out of here, Rad. Go do what you got to do.
Thank you, Rad.
We'll see you, brother. All right, folks, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you for coming. Sunday. Does anybody have any ideas for Sunday? Anything we might want to do on Sunday? There was something else. What is EDIS TV? What is that? You said that he comes to your show. Is that Aladdin? Is that who you're talking about? EDIS there? Let me see here. He comes to my show. CP made at Aladdin cry.
Yeah, he has come to Aladdin, to that guy's show. That's Aladdin he's talking about.
Who is this? I don't know this guy, EDIS guy. I feel bad. Who is this guy?
No, he's there. Yeah.
All right. Well, send me your link, dude, and I'll go check out your channel. And then we'll see if we can get people to go over there too. All right, folks, don't forget to share, share,
subscribe,
and hit the bell.
Hit the bell. There we go. Do all those things. God bless you. We'll see you on Sunday for the Crescent Discussion Group. Y'all have a great day.
You too.